This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Dum, 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 dum. I don't know the words. This is Halloween. This
It was Halloween. It was
that's
Halloween yesterday,
right.
yesterday, yesterday, yesterday. Yeah.
How was everybody's Halloween?
How is it
So
going?
it's Samhain, right?
Yeah,
Samhain,
fine.
Day
Yeah.
of Dead, Day of all the wonderful things. Well, I
Yeah.
hope you guys had a good week.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty eventful for Halloween. Lots of amazingly dressed houses and costumes,
Yeah.
and oh, the candy we could have. And because we only had 15 trick-or-treaters, I have so much left over of all the things. So that's
Okay.
why I buy things that I'll eat or
Yeah.
drink. Some you don't
Yeah.
want.
Back where we are, like there's never anybody, but we took the kids just to, like the neighbors or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they were happy to see us anyways. But I ran into one today. I said, "So, what was your count?" She's like, "One and two." I was like, "Oh my goodness." I was like,
Oh,
because Ryan wasn't, we weren't gonna go to her house. I was like, "No, like she'll kind of expect us. Like she's our next door neighbor." I said, "No, she'll have some
yeah.
cookie." So
Yeah.
she like did, which was really nice. So I'm like,
That's the thing. And that's
bitches.
what's so it's tough because like well, it's the same with in
I have
where
to
we
turn
live.
off this. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah.
Sorry. Like,
There's
fire.
certain areas in the city that um are super popular theaters because like the whole neighborhood, like the whole suburb is like full on, like every house is dressed up. There's kids all over
Mhm.
the street, it's the whole thing. And then there's other
Mhm.
streets that people are still there giving
Yeah.
out treats, but they're all the kids have gone to these bigger areas because that's where like big haunted houses are or whatever.
Mhm.
So
When
I
I
feel
think like,
sad. I definitely felt
yeah,
like I kind of felt sad actually. I was like, that's too
I
bad. I was
know,
hoping for more, but kind of is what it
right?
is.
I
It's how the
know.
cookie sometimes. So
I was gonna say
yeah,
like the areas that you live in now aren't like resurged with young families yet. Do you know what I mean?
that's
It's
it.
like it's
Exactly.
like the parents of the
Yeah,
people
a lot of
have
grandparents in this area and
lots of
like
grandparents.
yeah, like even though like we live right beside a school and there are a lot of kids, it's still a lot of older families.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say like it's just an older neighborhood, right? In that
it is.
sense, it's like literally there's no kids there, even though there is a school. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I was talking with mom a little bit, and she had mentioned like Stonebridge and in Saskatoon, and like there's
Yeah.
a few hot
Yeah, well,
areas. I'm like, yep, because it's
oh yeah.
all young families. Like,
That's exactly what they bring in. Like it's affordable that way. So that way there are lots of families that come
mhm.
in. Yeah. Whereas like those houses will see 300 to 400 kids a night, if not more. Whereas like I was hoping for like a nice 40, 50 kids. That
Yeah,
would be
that's
like
what I'm saying.
super amazing. But oh well,
Yeah.
maybe next year. But next year that's when Harrison will be trick-or-treating. So we may not even be home. I'll
Yeah.
leave a bowl
Well,
out.
I was gonna say, oh, like you might be though. Because like even
Yeah.
then, like I think the kids were still in bed by like 8 o'clock last night. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I'm sure they
Like
were
they're
excited.
out, but like even though they're trick-or-treaters, you never know if they'll be out. But
That's true.
we'll get both
That's
maybe.
true. But yeah, we would love to know what your favorite part of Halloween was. If you dressed up, if you saw a really fun costume. Like I talked to our cousins, Jen and Jeff today, and they said
Mm-hmm.
one of their most favorite costumes that they saw was someone dressed up as a piñata and would hit themselves and they would throw candy.
Oh, that's funny. Okay. I've
I'm
seen
like,
that
what
where
a
like,
great idea.
yeah, a lady on TikTok did that and she like she had like candy tucked up between her legs and like so she like hit me. She's like and she would just like open her legs and like candy would fall out. I'm like,
Oh,
oh my
I
God.
love that. What a freaking great idea.
Like, oh
People are
my.
so creative. I just freaking love it. I'm like, yeah, brilliant.
Yep.
Brilliant.
Yep.
Well,
Not
today
wrong.
we're celebrating all the wonderful things of the Day of the Dead, which is on the Friday and the Saturday of this week, so
Hmm.
November 1st and November 2nd when this comes out. So Jessica
Exactly.
and I have a couple little
Hmm.
stories that have kind of going around those times, but just kind of still keeping in the Halloween mood before Mariah Carey completely defrosts. Like,
God. It's time, people. Oh my God. I don't think I'm ready for that. Like,
someone
I'm
told
like,
me today that she already launched a new song today.
I mean, she's ready. That's totally fine. Go for her. But like
She's
I am
just cutting
like
herself out of the ice. Yeah.
I don't know who I was telling this to. Oh, it was my friend Helen. Is that like we don't typically start decorating for Christmas
Yeah.
until like November 12th, right? Like after
Yeah,
Remembrance
or even like
Day.
the afternoon of Remembrance Day. Yeah,
I would say even the
after the
next day.
ceremony.
Myself, once the ceremony is done. Exactly. I
Yeah, after the
suppose.
ceremony. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But like I would even like I don't even think about it until then. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like not like it's next week's or whatever it is.
yeah.
Out of respect. Now I don't think like that's obviously not a thing here in Ireland because they don't what's the word? Like they
Wait,
have
would that
days of
be
remembrance, but they
oh,
don't
yeah.
observe that one exactly.
Yeah, because
So
it's a
like that
Canadian
one,
holiday.
it's not Canadian necessarily. It's definitely like the Commonwealth for sure.
Oh,
Like it is something like it has obviously it has to do with the world wars and that.
yeah.
But now like D-Day and whatnot.
Yeah.
So World War II specifically, but yeah, definitely within the Commonwealth. So I see it in like England and
Oh, I
in
see.
Northern Ireland, maybe, but not necessarily in the Republic of Ireland. So
Wow. Well, there you
yeah.
go.
Oh,
Crazy.
that's weird because I'm taking my car in for its NCT, which is like a car test. On that day, I'm like,
What's an
oh,
NCT? What does that mean?
national car test. And I have to get it
Mm,
checked every, is it once a year? Twice a year? It's
why?
like your car tax. I don't know. Like they actually have to like look over your car to make sure it's road safe.
I'm
And
shocked, but okay. At least that
but,
means there's no complete beaters on the road.
but that isn't that the truth? I'm like, if this wouldn't be a thing back in Canada, I'd be
No.
like, does it
No, there's
drive?
cars that break down all the time.
Exactly. Like, oh, it can start and it can move.
Yeah.
You're on the road, my
There's
friend.
cars
Yeah.
literally abandoned because they're like, well, we
You're
tried.
not dragging any parts? No, good, good. Yeah,
Strange.
like yeah. So anyways, I got that
Wow.
on the 11th. I'm like, okay, cool.
Huh. Shocking, but all right.
Mhm.
Whatever, gotta do what you gotta do. But yes,
Exactly.
so we have a bunch of different little stories for you.
Mhm. Yeah.
And again, oh, I wanted to say thank you again for all those questions that were submitted last week.
Mhm.
We again had a great time, even though it was a bit more of an emotional episode.
Yeah.
It was still like
Emotional on my behalf. Just
we were
me.
still so happy to be able to give those messages to the people that
Yeah,
need it. So we hope that it
totally.
resonated, and thank you again for the people that reached out
Hmm.
to
Yeah.
let us know what their thoughts were.
I love doing readings. And I did more at my book club last night. So I instead of trick-or-treating with my kids, I did a couple houses with them. Then I went to my book club because,
Nice. Yeah,
so that's the last Thursday of the month. Gotta do it.
got
And I
it.
brought my tarot cards and like did pumpkin cookies and da da da, all that. And
Nice.
I did
Yeah.
some readings for like the ladies around the table, and it was like so good. When it was just like a good,
When it like hits hard, you're like,
so
yeah.
good. It
Oh,
could not have gone any better. I mean, obviously, when you're doing a public reading, stuff like that, obviously, I'm not doing like a deep dive. It's just like a general. I'm
uh-huh.
like, there's a couple cards for you, and then we'll do your animal spirit. I'm like, that it's like light and fluffy.
Yeah.
We can always dive in if you want later,
Yeah.
but it was really
I
good.
love
It was
that.
nice. So yeah, I got to
Nice.
end the month with that kind of good feeling.
I love that. While the trick or sorry, before the trick-or-treaters came, I did like incense burn of Palo Santo just to kind of bring in like protection and like I wanted my house to smell a little bit metaphysical as we had like some fun Halloween movies on and stuff, and it just like set the mood. And I was like, "Ah, doesn't have to be much, but it's just a little bit that you're like, feel
Yeah, I
good."
think I mean at this point we are not planning on staying home for Halloween, like well as far as we can say go in or go wherever to do it with the kids,
Yeah,
until we was like I said, no, but it was gonna come here. And like we're not gonna watch
too
a
far
movie.
away. Yeah.
We watched Hotel Transylvania, and
Oh, fun.
actually, so the kids tricked me because
Oh,
I was away last night, and then after Ryan was done trick-or-treating in town, he brought them got McDonald's as you do, and
as you
then as you do, and then they came home and watched Hotel Transylvania. Super cool.
yeah.
Today, this morning, because they haven't been watching TV all week because I was like, nah, they've been naughty, so they've been taking things away.
Uh,
And but today we said you can watch some TV. And Colin's like, I want to watch that movie. And I was like, oh, cool. Hotel Transylvania. Love it. We haven't watched that in a while. So we watched it this morning.
nice.
And then this afternoon, it was like, he's like, I want to watch it. And it's like, oh, like we've only watched half of it, but I'm like, I'm sure it got ribbed around. So we watched it again, or
Nice.
half of it, more than half of it, anyways. And then Ryan told me, oh, I watched it last night. I was like, cool. They've seen it like 3 times in the last 24 hours.
But they kept wanting to see it, so they must have
They
missed
like
parts
it.
the first
I,
time. I get it.
I
We rewatch movies all the time
But then I was thinking in the car, I'm like, this is like classic Adam Sandler. Because they won't know Adam Sandler the way we know him. They're gonna know him as like the voice of
as
this
a
character.
cartoon guys. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, you know what? I love Adam Sandler. Bring it.
Yeah. We'll support you forever. Ever and ever and
Actually,
ever.
I love
Yeah,
him.
Hotel
He's still like
Transylvania
my
is so good.
he's like my crush, but not. Do you know what I mean? Like he's just like I used to like I think he's good looking as like a younger gentleman as well. I
Fair
don't
enough.
think he looks bad now. Just like
No,
he's bad now.
I really love how funny he is. It just seems so like so flawless or so seamless of just like he's just
Yeah, he's just
funny.
funny. He's goofy. Except I don't love
Yeah.
the when he does like the little woo woo woo. I don't know what he does, but I don't even know. I can't even think of a movie. He does it in every one of his movies, and I'm just like, I
Okay.
can't.
I'm sure.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Stop. Stop. Too
No,
much.
that's fair. Yeah, we what movies did we watch last night that were? Halloween movies because I didn't want something too scary, but I also was like, I can't watch something that's not Halloween. So I did put on Casper last night and little man watched it, the whole thing. And I was like,
Good
hopefully this
call.
doesn't give you nightmares. But then he slept for like 7:30 till 5:30 in his own crib. So I was like, hopefully that means a
It
good
was
thing.
fine. That's fine. Exactly. There's
Yeah,
a lot of energy spent yesterday.
I
Um,
know, right?
Random note about Scary Movie
Yeah.
because Maria went as she had two costumes. One was like a skeleton lady in a
Yeah.
dress or whatever, and the
Yeah.
other one was Snow White. So
Oh
this
yeah.
week I was like, oh, let's watch some like Cinderella or whatever. So we watched a little bit of Cinderella. Okay, changed it to Snow White. Like,
Yeah.
cool, let's watch it.
Uh-oh.
It's so scary. And I
It
like
is
was like,
so
I'll just
scary.
skip
The
this part.
fourth
I'm like,
scene,
I don't even like this part.
the wood scene is so fucking
Like,
scary.
so I just I don't think we're ready for this. Like even me going back and I'm like, I
Not
remember we
yet.
watched that movie so many times
Oh,
as
probably, yeah.
children,
Uh-huh.
like about her age. But I mean, I don't know if we just had more freedom than my almost 3-year-old does. But
Yeah,
like, I
nothing
don't,
seemed to really bother us except for Matthew, poor guy, who would
except for
cry
Matthew.
every. Well, Matthew would cry every
Beauty and the
time
Beast.
the Beauty and the Beast were fight, or not the Beauty and the
They're
Beast, but
fighting.
and the Gaston were fighting to the death.
Something like that.
Then yeah, Matt would cry every time, and we're like, oh, it's okay, it's just a movie. But I'm not sure why it didn't affect Jessica and I like that, even though
Mhm.
it's
Fine. Exactly. No. Then we're
not sure
stuck with
why we.
like the Witched Witch of Snow White, and she's like cackling like a
Yeah,
like
like she's actually scary.
she's actually scary. But that movie's from like the 30s or 1933 or
I don't know
34
about
or
30s,
some
but it was,
ridiculous.
yeah, it was a long time ago,
It is
for
a
sure.
fucking scary movie. So, anyways, Maria will not watch that. She
No,
will.
no. Wait. I would wait on Snow White. I would maybe
We started
do like one
Cinderella.
on Tangled for now.
Yeah, that's like too new age. I mean, like she's got. Anyways, we did do a little bit of Cinderella, which was good.
Mhm. Yeah.
She did enjoy that, which was nice. Because it was like the mice and the singing and like the cat,
Yeah.
happy days.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too
Yeah.
like, uh,
And you're like, look, it's Mama. She lays in the bed in the dark with the kitty cat.
exactly, exactly. I'm like, it's me,
It's me. Yeah.
me, exactly. Yeah. So, anyways, that's I don't know. What else? That's the week.
Oh,
Yeah.
fantastic. No, it's so
hmm
many movies way back are like so fucking scary. And then the ones they come up with now, you're like, ah, not bad. That's good.
No, I'm still afraid of everything, so it's fine.
Yeah. No, you would be. That's okay though. That's okay. It happens. All right.
It does. I just stay away from that kind of stuff. I'm like, I do not. I
Well,
don't.
do you have, with all of your stories that you have today, do you have any spooky ones you want to start with?
It doesn't matter. I think
Or
I've got to do some
you want me
like,
to do mine first? What do you think?
yeah, you do your thing, and I gotta like build my base before I dive into my stories, I think. But
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead. Shall we? We kind of just
Okay.
pulled some fun facts from either side of this, and
Nice.
Brittany has hers, and I got mine. So,
Yeah. So I have a story that I had heard off of another podcast that I follow called Heart Starts Pounding. And um I heard the story and I was like, oh my God, I need to know more. So I found the story on history.com and it's how jack-o'-lanterns originated. And
hmm
it originated in Irish myth. So Jessica and I were chatting way before this about how she's like, before pumpkins, it was turnips. And I was like, are you sure? But it's correct. Before we carved pumpkins, the Irish chiseled creepy faces into turnips. So this is the legend of Stingy Jack, which I'm super surprised, Jess, that you haven't heard of it. You'll have to ask Ryan if he had ever heard of the story growing up.
let's be real. My
Well,
husband's like was
was he?
not the type of child to just be like in to know that. My mother-in-law might, but I
Yeah.
would say Ryan would be like he would have.
He'd
Anyways,
be like,
go on.
fucking cares. He'd lie to you and be like, yeah, of course I heard
You're like,
about it.
oh yeah, Stingy Jack. He's the one in town.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. People have
There's
been
Joan
making
somewhere.
they've been making jack-o'-lanterns at Halloween for centuries. One version of the practice may have originated from an Irish legend, which first appeared in print in the 19th century about a man nicknamed Stingy Jack. According to the story, Stingy Jack invited the devil to have a drink with him. True to his name, Stingy Jack did not pay for his drink, so he convinced the devil to turn himself into a coin that Jack could use to buy their drinks. Once the devil did so, Jack decided to keep the money and put it into his pocket next to a silver cross, which prevented the devil from changing back to its original form. Jack eventually freed the devil under the condition that he would not bother Jack for 1 year. Oops. And that should Jack die, he would not claim his soul. The next year, Jack again tricked the devil into climbing into a tree to pick a piece of fruit. When he was up in the tree, Jack carved a sign of the cross into the tree's bark so the devil could not come down until the devil promised Jack to not bother him for 10 more years. Soon after, Jack died. As the legend goes, God would not allow such an unsavory figure into heaven. The devil, upset by the trick Jack had played on him and keeping his word not to claim his soul, would not allow Jack into hell. He sent Jack off into the dark night with only a burning coal to light his way. Jack put the coal into a carved out turnip and began roaming the earth with it ever since. The Irish began to refer to this ghostly figure as Jack of the Lantern, and then simply Jack o' Lantern. That story likely drew on the parallel etymology of the term Jack o' the Lantern, as akin to Will o' the Wisp. A mysterious light seen in a wooded or swampy areas at night, sometimes with natural causes, other times as a result of of mischievous children lighting lanterns. So yeah, I was just like, oh my
Interesting.
God.
Have you seen Brave?
No, I
The
haven't.
movie Brave? Oh, it's so good.
I
On the
know.
Factor of Disney.
Oh, sorry. One more really quick note about the origin there. In
Go on.
Ireland and Scotland, people began to make their own versions of Jack's lanterns by carving scary faces into turnips and placing them in their windows or near doors to frighten them away.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure Stingy Jack or any other wandering evil spirits would keep away. In England, large beets are used. Immigrants from these countries brought their own vegetable carving traditions with them when they came to the United States, helping change American pumpkin carving from a general autumn pastime to one uniquely associated with Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry, I've never
No, it's
seen that.
okay. Just on the topic of wisps,
Yeah.
because that is definitely very Celtic, very like Irish and Scottish kind of thing. And if you've seen Brave, which I'm sure you have, if you haven't, watch it. It's a Disney movie. It's great. It's
Yeah.
actually probably one of my favorites.
I feel
Um,
like you said, I just missed my mom so much when I watched it.
I did. It's about
That's probably why I
relationships.
haven't seen it. Like, I don't want
It's
to spend
about
much.
familiar relationships and between a mother and a daughter, the tensions in that,
Hmm.
and like the
Okay.
wants the daughter wants for her future versus the traditional views that her mother has sacrificed, and the following in
Um,
steps versus not. Anyways, but it is like follow the wisp. The wisp will lead you either basically if you're following the wisp, it'll like lead you to the answer,
hmm.
help lead you to your path, I believe is what it is. But essentially, like it starts out, I'm not going to give anything away at the story here, but in the beginning, a wisp saves her from a big bear. This bear is like the legendary bear of the region that is like ruthless and is supposed to be um this old gentleman had been what is it had been cursed to live life as this bear anyways, and it was like
Oh,
anyways, so definitely worth the watch. That's what I was thinking, like, oh, wisps, that's an actual legitimate thing
cool.
been carried over, because some things when they get turned into movies don't always keep their authenticity, as I will kind of discuss a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, fantastic.
Hmm.
Jack O'Lantern.
Yes, Jack of the Lantern.
Jack of the Lantern. No, it's
Yeah.
very good. No, I'm just gonna dive right in as we do.
Yeah. Do
So
it.
yes,
Crush.
we were doing our Day of the Dead prep last week. Now it is upon us. It's the last day when this podcast comes out, which is November 2nd. So we kind of said like it's just like today and tomorrow. Now, yes and no. So I was kind of doing my research. We knew it extended as early as the 27th because our pets are kind of included in that as well. Like that the day to remember your pets is on the Sunday, the 27th. And then from then on, each different day leading up to the second, or sorry, the first and second is like a different day to remember people. And basically how they break it down is through their, sorry, I have to burp right away. You can feel it. Their
Okay. Yeah.
circumstance of death, if that makes any sense. So there's different like levels of death in their like not necessarily the hierarchy, but how you die puts you in a different like level of say purgatory. Which I mean, there's different levels of death depending on how you die, which is interesting. I haven't really done a full deep dive on it, but I thought it was really neat. So
Yeah.
anyways, this is how the days break down. So we did the 27th for our animals and our pets who have lost, right? October 28th are for those who died in accidental or violent deaths, so remembering them.
Yeah.
October 29th is for individuals who have drowned. The 30th for forgotten or lonely souls.
Oh, wow.
The 31st for unborn children. November 1st for deceased children.
Oh,
And November 2nd is for adults who died a natural death, as well as for all other diseased or deceased adults. So, I mean, that's
wow.
kind of like the catch-all is the last day. But yeah, but then, like I said, like depending on how you died, it kind of breaks up how you're
Hmm.
remembered. But yeah, I wanted to chat a little bit about like the general, what it means and where it comes from. And I
Yeah.
know, I don't necessarily know where for like popular in Mexico. Do you know what I mean? But I think there's people who honor the faith of that and, they see the significance in that. Now you kind of
Yeah.
touched a little bit on like jack-o'-lantern and, people warding off evil spirits.
Yeah.
Which is why I guess in that pagan tradition of kind of Halloween to dress up to ward off the evil spirits is to kind of like disguise yourself to kind of dress like a spirit to avoid the spirits. And then where we're dealing with the Day of the Dead, or I'm gonna be okay with my Spanish here, that Dia de los Muertos,
Yeah.
the Day of the Dead, which is
Yeah.
also the Dia de Muertos. The los is a back translation. If that makes any sense, the Dia de los Muertos is easier for people to convert into English and back into Spanish. But depending on where you are in which region of the world, Dia de Muertos is the one that's more authentic, if that makes any sense. I'm going to call it the Day of the Dead
I love
because,
it.
again,
Because
that's just
easier in
out of
English.
respect for the
Yes.
butchering of the
That's
Spanish, España. Um,
Espanol.
Espanol, I should say. España, is it España is Spain. España, Español is it Spanish. España, Spain.
You're like, please don't hate. Please don't hate. Please don't hate. I'm
Okay,
trying to be.
cool. Anywho, that was great.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about? Okay, there we go. What are we going to talk about? I should bring up my notes here. This is why I'm like, oh, we'll have to do this. So, it is a pre-Hispanic kind of dated ritual. So this goes back many, 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 many years in Mexico. In basically they used to have it was 2 months, yeah, 2 months of the summer that they would celebrate the Day of the Dead or the months of the dead, let's say. So they would have one for children and one for adults, and so that would be how it was kind of broken up here. Now, when the Catholics entered the picture and the new calendar came about, that's when they moved the honoring of the dead to an All Souls Day. So that would be again November 2nd when this podcast comes out. So it would be an All Souls Day. Again, that
Yeah.
catch all day. So that was kind of how it changed. Prehistorically, it was, back in the summer, like in the summer months, it was like dedicated all the time, whereas now it's just combined into the two. So
Mhm.
essentially, the native Mexican believe that life on Earth is just a preparation for the next world. And they believe it's important to maintain a strong relationship with all of our ancestors that carry forward and go on. So during this time, the families gather and they celebrate their loved ones. They do what's called a ofrendas, which is like an offering or like a table offering.
Mhm.
Sorry, I'm like looking at you. I'm like, she doesn't even care. She doesn't even care, Brittany. She's like, no, I'm looking like I'm talking to you. Nobody else
I'm
is listening
listening to
right
you.
now.
I'm listening to you. I just am also listening to freaking Honey who's barking in the background because she's a
It's
dink.
fine. It's
She ate
fine.
my pumpkin cookies and now she's mad at herself for being in the cage.
You made pumpkin cookies too?
No, my mom, our
My
mom did.
mom. My mom
Our
did.
mom did brought me some yesterday, but she put them in a container, but it didn't have a lid, and I put them on the counter and they're gone because
Fucking honey.
I every goddamn year she
She will
eats
not let you
something
have
she
anything
shouldn't.
nice. You know that. She'll never.
Not in my house, not in my house. No, she always goes after things that I like. I'm like,
Listen.
didn't even get to have one, you stupid
Listen.
dog.
My dog. Anywho, back to it.
Keeps me in. Yes.
Yes, the ofrendas is something that people would incorporate like the elements into, as well as traditional items and specific items to the person that's passed on. So essentially, they would go to the graveyards on these days. Like this is not a day where they dress up like for Halloween.
Yeah.
That's not what they're doing here because it is a day of respect, right? So they are not dressing up in order to ward off anything. Like they are going to a family reunion, which I said in the last episode was it's like a reunion of sorts. So they're going to the graveyard. It's a celebration. It's like bring the family along, right? So they're gonna have banners, they're gonna have flowers, they have this, it's de muerto bread, which is like a twisted kind of bread, specific for this day that you could either leave as an offering on the table itself, or you can have it served with tea or coffee. It's like, oh, great, cool. But candles, calaveras, which is a sugar skull, or sorry, no, it's hold on, no, I got the Spanish version of this. Let me be right. Calaveras, da 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 da. Hold on. Da, 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 da,
I
da,
feel like this,
da.
a lot of the things, if they need a visual too, is to watch the movie Coco.
So yes and no. Yes and no. Like there's going to be things in there that aren't 100% correct, like
Oh,
anything,
goodness, not
right?
every, yes.
But but it is very much like it's I was reading a lot of reviews from it. It's like, okay, they really did their history, they did their research in this area. So like everything, there are if we're going to talk movies, we'll pause here to talk movies because Coco is definitely more accurate. But now in Spectre, which is a 007 movie, they do a Day of the Dead parade in Mexico City, I believe,
Ooh.
whereas that's not a thing. Now it's
Oh,
a
okay. I
thing.
was like,
Yeah,
what?
now following the movie release there, the people who were extras in the movie have gone about recreating it every year. So now it's like a little bit more
Right.
of a show every year. But otherwise, that's not really a thing.
Never would
The
have guessed, but
parades.
fair enough.
So interesting. Super, super
Yeah,
interesting.
very interesting. Very interesting.
But yeah, anyways, going back to what I was, yeah, they have flowers. They make these flowers out of paper and like paper banners. And basically, it kind of reminds me not to like give it like a comparison, but when you make like snowflakes out of paper and you like
Yeah.
fold it and you cut it a bunch of different ways, that's kind of what it looks like. But it's like each one's on different colored paper, or they're tie-dyed paper,
Oh,
but they're like done with like a chisel and a hammer opposed to cutting with scissors. But like that's like it's a very similar kind of craft. Let's just say that.
neat.
Um, but yeah, they do like extreme or elaborate tapestries or decorations on the graves, or depending on how they're buried in that, it could be like picture depicting them, or like an angel. So they have, okay, so a calaca, which is Spanish for skeleton.
Okay.
They, as most people know, a sugar skull is a skeleton that has like kind of flowers, like very elaborate
It's
styling on
very
that.
drawn up. Yeah.
Exactly. So there was an artist, I'll get to his name shortly here, but he had drawn like a bunch of these kind of skeletons. So sorry, Calaca, yeah. I'm just
Kalaka,
Calaca.
kalaka.
So there was a Mexican lithographer and illustrator, Jose Guadalupe Posada. And though this was in the 1900s, now what he had done is he has depicted a female skeleton wearing the style or like a dress of a skeleton with like a fancy hat on with like flowers in
Hmm.
it. Actually, do you know, I'm just gonna quickly, can I do this? Is this allowed? Can I share my screen?
Well, yeah, we've done that
Have
before.
we ever done that? Have I ever done
Yeah.
that? Shared it. That's it. That's what it is. I shouldn't share my whole screen, but I did anyways. So
I was like,
this is,
oh, I'll adjust
yeah,
this for information now on YouTube.
oh, it's fine. I didn't know what I've got on there. Literally, it's like tea leaves, Florida water, numerology, TurboTax. Anyways, feel free to have a snoop around. This is like where I get all my research from all the different things. Like even Reddit's up there. It's fine.
Yeah, great.
But anyways, this I've heard that this is kind of a relative because in death we are all equal. So, even like even even when these women of high society pass, they're all gonna look the same as the
Yeah.
poor who pass, right? So it's just a hat. But anyway, so then this that has become kind of one of the faces of this. So there is another thing called a comparsa, which is like that carnival that we were talking about. So those
Okay.
people do dress up in costumes, they dance, but like I said, it is more of a new age kind of thing. So it's more of a creative thing, but more or less the Katrinas, which is that the skeleton lady.
Hmm.
Um, sorry, La Katrina is that specific one that's been adapted from Jose's work.
Neat.
So yes, super cool.
Hmm.
Other things that are involved in these ceremonies would be like monarch butterflies or the colors of such, which is like that orange, black, and white. So monarch butterflies play a role because they're believed to hold the spirits of the departed. So the belief stems that the fact that the first monarchs arrive in Mexico for the winter each fall on November 1st, when that's like part of their migration. And then Brittany and I, when I was doing my research before we kind of got on here,
Yeah.
I was reading about this like, okay, there's this, it's called a Zolo Itzuquintal, I don't know, an endemic and ancient dog breed. Essentially, it's a dog breed. And it's the dog to help them cross the river. So like in
Oh.
certain cultures, it's called like the river Styx, but this is the Chicano Huapan. But I thought it said Chihuahua. That's why I was laughing. I was like, oh my God, it's a Chihuahua. It's like, no, that's the name of the river.
That's fun.
Chicano Huapan River. Chicon, Chiconahuapan.
Nice.
Chiconahuapan. I'm so sorry. It's my life. River. So it's the river to the underworld, essentially. So in those times, they would, at that time, back when, don't make fun of me anymore, I'm done. Enough of your shit. Um, back when they would actually bury one of those dogs, a Zolo dog, Xolo, that's how you spell that, with the deceased, so that the spirit would guide them. But today they now place like a ceramic Zolo or anything alluding to this kind of dog style. It looks like
Well,
it's
it's
really
nice they're not
interesting.
putting down a dog every time. Like
I
that would
mean,
be.
like, well,
That's nice that they're
not
safe.
my dog exactly. But
Uh,
yeah, so those kind of some of the research there. But now I did find some other like fun facts.
I like it. I'm here for it.
I know you're so good.
I'm so good.
Where is I
Yeah.
had like a whole thing. Yeah, it's not a sad. Essentially, it's not a sad day. It's like we said, it's like a family reunion, which
Yeah.
I think is super cute.
It's just
Super cute.
celebrating everyone who has passed on, but remembering them in the best way you can.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Where was my bit of information here? Da-da-da-da-da. Oh yeah, La Catrina. Because I really wanted to like dig into this again. The Calavera
Hmm.
garbantia, later named the La Catrina, which is that skeleton with the fancy hat, first
Hmm.
created in 1910 to 1912 by Jose Guadalupe Posada. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Oh yeah, so it originated from like a painting. Um, sorry, he included La Catrina in this painting, A Dream of a Sunday Afternoon in a Park. And with that, again, the Catarina represents the idea that death is inevitable and equalizes everyone, regardless of their soul status or wealth. In the last several decades, it has been associated with and has become a symbol of the Day of the Dead, or Dia de Muertos. So, yeah, I just thought that was really neat.
I like that. That is
Again,
really
this
neat.
is the time to honor and welcome the departed. Um, yeah, so, and
I like
also
that.
it's day.
Well, and I know you and I have talked about different ways that we can celebrate our past loved ones,
Mhm.
which could be like creating a meal you guys would have shared together when they were on the earth with you on the earth side. Um, it could be going through photo albums. It could be singing a song or a favorite movie or whatever you had together. It could be just something, it doesn't have to be us going to the graveyard because what if they don't live in your
Yeah.
city?
Well,
Or
that's
like
part of
I
it
said,
too, is like,
yeah,
and then it's not necessarily a skeptical of sorts, but you can do your ofrenda or your offering anywhere. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be, especially if
right.
family members are across the world,
That's exactly
potentially.
it. There's only so much you can do. So you can
Sorry.
still celebrate them and know that like they are loved and cherished and missed
Yeah.
by
Comes down
creating.
to intention.
That's exact. Always, everything
Yeah.
comes to intention.
Yeah. I know we've probably talked about this before, but I feel like the deeper we get into our spiritual journey,
Yeah.
the like less afraid I am of death. I don't know how you feel about all this stuff, but
I'm
like
not for death. Yeah.
I'm not. And now, I guess that being said, it's like even when those pass around me,
Hmm.
obviously it's a devastating thing. I'm not going to say it would never
Yeah.
be, right? It's not like I
Right.
wouldn't be upset. I would be upset. But
Yeah.
it's like the understanding of it changes now because I know it's
Yeah.
not over. You know,
That's the thing. Yeah. What we know now
I've
is
come a
less.
lot more comfortable with it. And it's not that like, knock on wood, death's upon me, but it's
Right.
the, okay, like, yeah, I don't know.
You're greeting death and without fear.
Without fear, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like a really morbid thought, but it is kind of that time where I'm like, you know what?
Well, it's
I
not
think if we
necessarily
see it as a
cruel.
celebration and the change, right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
But it
yeah,
is part of life. And if you're not you're not, you're sorry, how do I put this? It's not that you're not afraid of it. You're just more of like, it's going to happen one day. None of us get out alive. And
Yeah.
so
The
you've
only thing
come to
certain in life.
accept it that you're like, well, one day, so I'm just going to make sure that I feel I can get the most out of my day with all the people that I love.
Yeah, exactly. And like continuing to honor them and miss them, right? Like we miss
Yeah.
everybody, but
Oh God, yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
Yes.
I
So
love it.
that's my little bit of a spiel there. I'm definitely could go further into it, but I'm like, again, out of respect and to not butcher the Spanish.
No, and I think that's perfect. And really, we'd love to know what everyone else
Yeah.
thinks. And if you do celebrate any of these traditions, we'd love to hear about it. We'd love to
Yeah.
know what is something that you like to do to celebrate your loved one during this time. Or, it doesn't, like we've talked about too, that it doesn't necessarily have to be around Halloween, the Day of the Dead, all of that wonderful stuff. It can be um around big holidays. It could be around like their death anniversary kind of deal. They can
Yeah.
be
That's exactly it. And now that is something that the Irish definitely celebrate is like the anniversary of people's deaths. It's
is that
like a
right?
day they go to church, they have spend time
Oh,
with family. Like that is the
that's a
anniversary
very good day.
is no, I shouldn't even say celebrated, but it's remembered here. Like I
Oh,
think they gather. It's a gathering day,
that's nice.
So yeah,
Cool.
crazy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shall we pull a card, Jessica?
Let let's do that. I
So
think that would be great.
I'm pulling from my deck the Dreams of Gaia. Jessica gave me this deck.
You know what? Damn it. I was at a freaking charity shop today and I
Yeah.
thought I saw a tarot deck, but then my freaking children couldn't, man, I had to get Marie to the bathroom. I was like, I'll come
It's
back for that. And then I forgot. Anyways, go on. I'm like, well, that would have been fine, but it's
you
okay.
can
Go
maybe get
on.
tomorrow, depending if that's in town or not.
I work tomorrow.
Mm.
It's
Then
not
never
my
mind.
town. It's a town over.
Can you call it and just be like, can you hold it for like Monday?
Maybe I could just do it on Monday or just figure it out. Figure it
Yeah.
out. Figure
Yeah.
it out.
It'll
Okay.
come.
Anyways,
All
I'm just gonna
right.
mute myself while I shuffle, but I'm listening.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. So the card that has come out already, it's so beautiful. Um, you'll have to give me a second as I try to even like figure out where to even find this in my deck because it's all symbols. So we are gonna
Can you hold it up again? Does it look like it looked like an
it's
earth.
definitely something of seven. It could be
Yeah.
Earth.
Is it 7 or 3? I was counting the koi. Oh,
So on
that's
my end, the V is first and then two. So then
oh,
that would
okay.
be seven, right?
Okay. Oh, I was looking at the koi. Because okay, it's the
Oh,
water then. It must be water if it's koi. Then I'm like fluid and like follow. That's kind of my interpretation of it is like and the girl's kind of dancing. So it kind of
mhm.
feels like going with emotions and just following the vibe.
Which
Following the vibe.
would make sense.
I
Okay.
could be very wrong. Anyways, okay, I am
Yeah.
gonna shuffle
Yes,
now.
you're right, Jessica. That's the suit of water. Perfect. So this is the seven of water. The keywords here are knowing, trust, faith, surrender, and control, release, peace, certainty, and passive. So surrender to the flow of life, relinquish the need to control. All happens as it is meant to. The future will bring what you need, not what you want. Control is an illusion. Your influence on the future is limited. Yield and be flexible, a gentle, passive approach, which is interesting. I definitely need this reminder today because it's like, oh, we want this to happen. We want this to happen this week. Why isn't it happening? But you have to literally let go. You have to let go of even the thought to be like, no, it just has to happen on its own. The
Yeah,
more you try to hold on to it, the less you're going to see the outcome because you're holding on to it. It's not going to be free to like go and manifest.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw my eyes go.
Yes, it did.
Okay.
What does that mean? I thought you were burping or yawning or
My
something.
shuffling has changed.
Is that
The way I
right?
pull cards has changed. Not like drastically, but like I go by sensation, right? And I'm like, oh. So now the
You're
cards are at the top.
evolving.
Literally,
Ooh,
because I'm like, oh, I'll get it from the middle. I was like, it's at the top. I'm like, it's at the top again.
you're evolving. Your witch powers are
I know.
expanding.
It's actually crazy. Because like when I was pulling for friends last night, I was like, oh my God. Like I was freaking out the time. Like, why is it different? It's weird. It's
I
different.
love
And
it.
last week, I'm like, this is new. I said, guys, this is really strange for me. So I'm like,
Good.
so fun.
Good.
Anyways, I just that's why my eyes were like, it's happening.
It's
But
happening.
oh, actually, Jackie, shout out to Jackie, my Canadian friend here. She was with me at my book club last night.
Nice.
And she's like, I've never seen you do this in person. I've only ever heard you. It's like, oh. So it was really nice
Ooh,
to
that's
kind of like
exciting.
break the fourth wall and be like, look at, I'm
Yes.
doing it for you. It's
Hi,
great.
I'm real. I'm a real person.
Okay, are we ready? Well,
Yeah,
I see her all the time, but
I
it's
know.
just
I'm
like
just teasing.
the pulling the cards. I don't pull them in person for her, right? So I got
Oh,
the rabbit.
oh, fertility.
Which is kind of funny. Okay, so we just a book
Yeah,
club. This is
yeah.
like a reoccurring theme is the rabbit.
Is
Interesting.
that
And Jackie will
right?
listen to this and she'll know. She'll know. She'll know. Okay.
And you know, Jackie, you know.
You know, Jackie. I love you, Jack. Brittany, you fucking love Jackie.
I know I
Jackie,
would.
also, while Jackie's listening, I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and recreate your essence and make it into a spray that can be
Ooh.
shared with everyone I know. She is. I just want to bottle her up and share her
Uh,
with absolutely
I
everyone.
love those types of
Just so you
people.
know.
You're like, this
Just
has
so
to
you
be
know.
shared with the world. We're
That's
gonna
my
bottle
goal.
you up, Jackie.
I've
We're
been
gonna
thinking
bottle.
about it all day. I'm like, how do I like manifest? How do I like do that? Anyways, so that's where my
I feel like what just came to my mind, if you're gonna bottle her like an essence of her up, you should. I don't
I do
know
whatever.
why. I don't know why it's coming, but pink lemonade.
Pink lemonade. Interesting. Okay.
I don't know why if it's like that scent. I don't know why if it's just like a citrus thing, but like for some reason it's like pink lemonade. And I was trying to think of another anything else, but it's like pink lemonade, pink
I like
lemonade.
that
I'm like,
though. Sweet and fun and
yeah,
refreshing and
yeah,
sparkling,
yeah.
maybe. Yeah.
Ask
I hope
Jackie. Jackie, would you tell us? What do you tell us going on? What do you tell
Brittany,
us?
you'd love her. You'd
I know
absolutely
I
adore
would,
her.
Jess.
I
I
know
know.
you. I know, and I'm like, I talk about her all the time with you. I'm like, my Canadian friend Jackie. Anyways,
Yeah, I'm
yes.
like I know exactly
I
who you're
love
talking
all my
about.
book club members as well. So,
Yes.
but you know, you all say this. You all say the same things about Jackie. You get it. So I know.
She's
Actually, one of
just,
the girls was like, "Oh, I just love her." I'm like, I know. Anyways,
oh, that's
so
good.
I should just
I love
dedicate this
that.
episode to Jackie.
That's good. Hopefully you've brought some fun, unexpected joy to Jackie today.
Exactly. I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rabbit. Back to this.
Yes, yes.
What an amazing card transfer here. So
I
the
love it.
rabbit, afraid of everything, overwhelmed, and frozen.
Ooh.
The rabbit loves to remind his friends that someday the eagle will swoop down and eat him. He talks and talks and talks about it so loudly, in fact, that one day the eagle hears him and thanks him for the great idea. Rabbit energy is alive when we are scared, most often about the future. And we become our own worst enemy when we spin up the cloud of dust, or the dust of cloud, dust cloud
The
of
dust
fear,
cloud.
the dust of cloud of fear, and then complain to others that we are lost.
Yeah.
Notice your thoughts are and words. Oh, rabbit, they shape your destiny. So when you're in balance, you're sensitive, a problem solver, and a good listener. When you're out of balance, you might over explain or talk fast. Is that me? I don't even know.
Well, I
To bring
can.
it to
Wow, that
balance,
could be you,
oh yeah,
Jess.
I've pulled this card recently because to
Yeah.
bring it to balance, a day of silence, and I'm like, what does that
Oh,
look
yeah, I remember.
like? Okay, my life.
Oh my God, that's
Okay, even though
awesome.
I bet you this was like last week's cards. Obviously, we're still in that like
Still, if it's still happening, it's still
energetic.
happening, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's still relevant, and maybe
Yeah.
just I did pull that as a collective. It doesn't necessarily resonate with me 100%. I think they all do, but it's kind of like everybody could use that kind of a day of silence. I would say
Yeah.
like just generally like
Even if you had like a half an hour of silence where you're like, if you like I always come back to this, but like go have a long shower. It could be a wash your hair shower, it could just be get your hair wet shower. Just
mm,
go stand in the shower where you can't be around your phone. Don't put a podcast or music on, don't put nothing on. Just sit or stand in the water and just enjoy the peace of that quiet.
yeah. Actually, while we're on that topic, I know this is just how it goes.
Yeah.
But in terms of connecting and, again, your spiritual goals and, any sort of powers, per se, for lack of a better word, that you
Yeah.
want to kind of enhance, doing that sort of meditation outside is
Yeah.
really good because then you can listen to nature and you can reconnect with like how the world is working. Obviously, I would say in like not a city or town. Do you know what I mean? Like where you're like at the traffic, but you want to listen to the
Yeah.
trees and the nature and
Yeah.
the grass and everything.
Well, even like today, was it today I was dropped or yesterday I was dropping Harrison off at daycare and there's leaves that are falling outside. And I was just standing there waiting for her to open the door and I was just like, oh, just sounds so good. Just the leaves
Mhm.
falling, even though there
And
was traffic, but it was still quiet. I don't know. I liked it
oh,
though.
but the smell of the
Mhm.
season. Oh, I love it. There's no real crunchy leaves over here. Anybody wants to send me videos of crunching leaves?
Oh, maybe I'll get Harrison to jump in some leaves. I don't know if he's ever
That
done
could be
that.
like What is that? Trying to think.
A ASMR.
ASMR, crunching leaves. Like crunch, crunch,
There
crunch.
you
I'm
go.
like, yes. Give me
Oh
that
my God,
crunchy
that's so
leaves.
funny.
Smells
I'm
so
sure you
good
can
though.
find it.
All the leaves are soggy here, as all the Irish will
Yeah.
attest. You might find
Yeah.
some crunchy leaves, but most of them are soggy. So
Fair.
yeah,
It's not as dry as Canada. Well, that's
yeah,
okay.
it ain't.
Well, thanks for coming with us for another day,
Thanks,
another time.
guys.
Where can they find us, Jessica?
Well,
Well,
you may find us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Basic Banter for Witches, or you may email us. I always forget Reddit, but Reddit doesn't really count. We're not even
eh,
really there.
you're fine, but yeah.
Um, or you can email us basicbanterforwitches@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yay. Well,
there
thanks,
we are.
guys. Thanks for
Thanks, you.
coming along for a ride. And we'll see y'all next week. If you let us know if you have any fun topic requests that you guys would like us to go through before the Christmas time.
And yeah, I don't know if
Mhm.
we're taking any time off for Christmas. I don't remember if we did last year. We'll
I
figure it
don't
out.
think we did.
That's future
No.
times.
Yeah.
But
That's okay.
our link is still open if you want to submit
Yeah.
your questions for November.
Yeah. We'll still want to do like a once a month thing. So
Yeah,
definitely the last couple weeks were like just some good catch up because we knew
good
that there
catch
was
up.
lots of people who were asking. So we're like, let's just do a big
Uh-huh.
two-parter episode.
Two-parters.
So yeah, now we'll be back on like the monthly one. So just in case you didn't get to ask a question, you're more welcome to submit.
Exactly. But we do
Cool.
hope that you guys enjoy this time of year and
Yeah.
take it, just sit into the day and enjoy it. Even if it's just like a brief, like sitting in your car before you go to work, just like take a deep breath and appreciate the day. Because the
Totally.
sun came up today and we were able to get up with it
Yeah.
and
Go
you know,
crunch some leaves.
I'll crunch some leaves. Yeah,
Yes.
you can send me those videos or not. You can just tell
Yeah.
me or think
Let's
of
do it.
me.
Love it. That's
Think of your
perfect.
loved ones when you crunch
Yes.
them leaves.
Amazing. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, we
Okay.
love you. See you
Love
next
you.
time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.